The dance world lost a major creative force a few months ago with the passing of Martha Graham. She was a dancer who until the very end sought new ways to expand the medium. Today, there are a number of artists working to take dance in new directions. Some of them are turning to film and video as a way to move dance beyond the limits of the proscenium stage and enhance our appreciation of its beauty. This new art form is called dance film, combining the attributes of each medium into something new and something bigger than the sum of its parts. Okay, so you're probably saying to yourself, this doesn't look much like dance. Perhaps you're thinking experimental film. Or maybe some kind of postmodern cinematic theater of the absurd. Well, you may be right on all counts. Forced to expand its scope by shrinking arts budgets and artistic considerations, dance today is changing as choreographers look more and more to collaborate with filmmakers and video artists.
Shape that kind of movement forever. I mean, I think the part with your head in the rock works because of the intensity there and also the shape of your body and the shape of the rock. Yeah. But just kind of crawling around, no, doesn't work. It's like, it doesn't have a meaning.
Ellen Sebring and Paula Josa Jones are working on a dance film called Branch. It's based on the myth of Daphne, the woman who turns into a tree. They've taken the dance off the stage and into the woods.
I'm interested in the whole range of human movement. One of the things that's different about this piece is the vocabulary of movement that it employs. It's a vocabulary that's more based on personal imagery, on sort of sensing biologic or geologic change in the body rather than toe pointing and elaborate technical arm movements.
Dance intrigues me because it doesn't speak. it moves. It has color and shape, and it's very sensual. And that's what I'm interested in capturing with the camera and with music. And so it's a kind of a natural thing.
Ellen and Paula have worked together in the past, recording performances by Paula's dance company. But they see a great difference between documentation and the larger possibilities of dance film.
If you are really honoring the convention of the proscenium stage, which is predicated on a separation of viewer and performer and the sort of subject-object relation, then certainly you're going to create work which has that distance built into it and which may lack the immediacy and may lack the intimacy that we can achieve here.
Yeah, if it was just slightly slow.
Yeah, not real slow, but just see that it evens it out a little bit, and then you see more the flow of the movement rather than getting caught on the...
Right.
Yeah. I am making work, I hope, which crosses over the boundary a little bit and which asks the audience to become more engaged and asks the audience to suspend their preconceptions about what dance is and what their own participation in that event means.
By directing the viewer's attention to certain aspects and details of a movement, dance filmmakers can turn the experience of dance into something totally different.
The minute it hits film or video, it is film and video. It isn't dance any longer. So I think if you're working in those forms, you have to know them really well. Basically, you're dealing with the manipulation of time and space, which is the same thing that you're doing in dance. And also there's the point that, dance film does not have to have somebody dancing in it either. There is, a lot of abstract work has been done, which I would definitely call dance film, where there are no dancers at all. To me, silent films are really dance films, a lot of them, because movement is the major means of expression. And the editing had a lot to do with with the movement and how the movement was working together. And, just with music playing and no dialogue, it definitely had this quality to it. Maya Deren, of course, was, one of the first American experimental filmmakers, and was exposed to dance through Katherine Dunham and toured with her company, and then made a piece called A Study for Choreography for the Camera with Tally Beatty, who danced in that film. And what was really outstanding about what she did is I think that she really, truly made dance film, and that it was neither one or the other, but it was a marriage of the two. And she did things with film and dance that could not be done live. And that's sort of the key for me, is to make things that you could not do on a stage, to use film for what it is and to use the cinematic properties of film, and to manipulate time and space.
In her own work, Bridget Murnane draws on the varied traditions of dance film, from Maya Deren to Fred Astaire, to demonstrate the medium's possibilities.
You have to give a few things up in terms of being a dancer and a choreographer because it's just different. It's not a three-dimensional medium. Weight does not have the same effect. You have to learn the properties of film and what it is and what it means. So for choreographers, I think it's a re-education in a way.
I think in the end that people who work with movement become fascinated by the particular potential of what unfamiliar experiences they can have. One's always looking for that sensation that you haven't quite had yet, that suspicion that there's something there that you want to touch, but you're blind, and you're feeling way through the dark to find out what it is.
Pu Kay is a dancer, choreographer, and filmmaker who's been feeling her way through the dark for years, making films about time, space, rhythm, and gesture. Her films ask us to question reality and the fragile nature of perception.
I find myself wanting to explore an experience that I've had and communicate it. The experience being how I feel about time, about rhythm, about the experience of environment, dealing with perception and the dislocation you can create in those situations.
Her current project is a film called The Painted Princess. It's based on an Oscar Wilde short story and styled after Picasso's version of the famous Velázquez painting, Las Meninas.
David, pull yours. Let's get it still. Okay, hold still. Go. I like the way the light shimmers on it. It's going to shimmer through the whole shot. It's going to go like that? Yeah. It's going to go in and out. Beautiful. Yeah.
Using stop-frame animation and paint, Pu creates a playful dance of light and shape, apparent even in this early work print.
You project what you imagine is going to occur, and you break it down into fragments, but you never see the fragments attached until you get the film back. You can just have these phenomenons where you have things that shouldn't be doing what they're doing. You could take something that takes 10 seconds to go from here to there, and you can here and there it in 3 seconds, no seconds. You can make it appear and disappear. It's that rhythmic addition to motion I find very appealing about film.
The power of film is its ability to immortalize, to take an otherwise fleeting instant and make it live on screen. For the dance world, the marriage of choreography with film and video is not necessarily one of convenience, but of necessity. And the ability of dance filmmakers to capture the beauty of movement in fresh and exciting ways can only serve to enhance the power of dance. Ellen Sebring.
What the camera can do is transform the dance. because I can isolate with the lens a certain view that I want to have, an angle, or cut out everything around it, and I can compose. You're able to isolate, create an illusion that's unique to film.
Next on Studio 7, Arts on the Line, the sounds of Boston's subway musicians.
Do you know what your